Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world. Hey everyone, it's Joe here. Just like last week, here's part 2 of the episode on the church's sexual abuse scandal.
Because they're getting away with it, that's why. Like I said, and I'm all about the law at this point. I'm all about, listen, I'm sorry that they, the Catholic Church is behind. They got them to, when the Catholic Church, if a priest molests a kid, and the Catholic Church covers it up and pays hush money, the Catholic Church is just as guilty as that priest fondling that child.
Well, it's funny. It's to go back to your point of how many people were happening before all these allegations came out. This little thing, and it goes to your hiding of the evidence too. It says William McMurray, a Louisville, Kentucky lawyer, filed a suit against the Vatican in June 2004 on behalf of 3 men allegedly abusing as far back as 1928, accusing church leaders of organizing a cover-up of cases of sexual abuse of children. In November 2008, the United States Court of Appeals in Cincinnati denied the Vatican's claim of sovereign immunity and allowed the case to proceed. The Vatican initially stated that it did not plan to appeal.
Well, sovereign immunity, in other words, they get to do whatever the fuck they want above and beyond the laws of the land?
You throw immunity in there, you can do whatever you want.
Well, then that's got to be revoked. Where's our politicians?
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I know diplomats have sovereign immunity. They can come here and get parking tickets and never pay for it, or they can murder somebody on the street and never pay for it. That's got to change. This is our country, Jack. You need to fucking come in our country, follow the rules. That's as simple as that. And that's what I get pissed off because, you can say that about anything. You can say it about people jumping the border, whatever you want. But the point is that those people are looking for a better life. These people are trying to hide from a bad one. Yeah. And these are the ones that should be fucking locked up. You want to don't even pay attention to them anymore. Let them come here and do what they want, and then arrest which ones are a crime. Do a crime.
So here's a question for you,
God,
for all of you.
Fucking aggravating.
And I'm not trying to, obviously, I'm not trying to say these people have whatever. But how much of accountability do you give at least in my opinion, the religion of how outdated it can be by saying priests are married to God, nuns are married to God?
It's a fucking excuse.
But what I'm saying is, when is it time to let these priests turn around and say, as human nature, go get a woman?
No, I'm sorry, Joe. That doesn't work that way. I don't want to hear about the celibacy shit. I don't give a fuck if they're not. If they're not, they have no right. No right.
Well, no, of course.
If that was your kid,
no, I know that. I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
The celibacy shit would go out the window. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong.
I agree with you.
You know what? If you want to go get laid, there's a million fucking opportunities out there. You can fuck an apple if you want. It doesn't matter. You don't. People that are married and live really good lives could do the same thing. They go out. You have child molesters that are fucking married.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, so those people, they're immune because they can get pussy.
I'm not saying that.
So what are you saying? I'm not getting you, but you hear that all the time. Oh, they got it. There's one reason for the celibacy clause, whatever fucking that is.
You can't say that.
I'm angry.
Celibacy.
There's only one reason for that in the Catholic Church, is because if the priests get married and they have children, then they have to get insurance. And the church would then have to pay health insurance on these people. Well, yeah, that's the only fucking reason. They'll tell you this, they'll tell you that, married to God, married to this. That's bullshit.
Well, it goes in the same vein that priests and nuns can't own possessions.
They can't own possessions because, okay, so you know what? Take the car away that they're driving in. They own the cars?
No, they do not. The Catholic Church owns
No, they do not. They own the cars. It's registered to them. It's given to them. They buy it themselves. Okay.
With what money?
With the money they're being paid for whatever. Like I know. It's I'm going to speak for the Catholic Church, which I know. Okay, they get a regular salary.
That's what I was going to say. It may be that they're followers of God and stuff like that, but aren't they actually still technically employees?
Exactly.
So going off of what Joe said, if they don't want to pay insurance, that makes sense because actual employment places, jobs, or whatever, they do that type of stuff.
It would bankrupt the church. It would literally bankrupt the church. Now, here. See, the Catholic Church hasn't gotten it yet. The memo hasn't filtered to that idiot with the hat on his head. So I give no credence to any of these. If the Catholic Church would just wake the fuck up here and let every church be accountable for the priests, hire the priests, whatever, okay, and then pay the priests just like the bishop, just like the Baptists do. The Baptist each church has a board of governors, and that they run that church. My cousin is a Baptist minister. He's been with 2 churches now, 2 or 3 that I know of. Okay, he's being paid by that church. It's not like he's being overall paid by the conglomerate that runs the Baptist community. There's no Baptist pope. That's my problem. Well, so everything is held accountable at the local level.
So here's it says they make about average earnings. It says, however, nuns give up their earnings they may have to the church. So in essence, nuns don't have a salary. Even if an average were able to be assessed, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, all members of clergy make a median annual wage of $47,000 a year.
$47,000 a year, huh?
That's more than I make.
And then they turn around and goes, although priests earn a modest salary, much of their income is earned through housing allowances, stipends, bonuses, and other benefits. These benefits are often provided by the church or parish to support the spiritual development of their community.
Exactly. The money is astronomical. Okay, you want to stop this shit?
This sounds like a big bribe to me, if anything.
Oh yeah.
You want to stop it? Stop it at the local level. Make every church accountable. Make everything. Then you'll see how fast you won't have these Catholic schools closing. Okay. Again, the Catholic Church is being taken down from the inside, and that's another subject for another day. That goes back to the third secret, all that stuff. It is actually coming true. Okay, if you look at it in the way it's being done, the Catholic Church is being ripped apart from the inside because of this scandal, and being paid. They're losing money by millions and billions of dollars.
Hand over foot.
Okay, and they're losing the money, and they're closing down these.
Parishes.
They're closing down the schools. Because it's easier to rent the schools out. It's found money to rent it to another school, to rent it to a secular school. That's what's going on. The only reason why two reasons why St. Gerard is still open. Number one, because they got that gymnasium next to it. That brings in, what, $4,500 every Friday night or Saturday night? All right? And because of Sister Joanne. Sister Joanne is a great principal. A great principal. She's done everything she can to keep that school together. And she's done it by herself against a lot of odds. Okay? So they're the only 2 reasons. Now, I'm sure there's more Sister Joanne's out there. In fact, I know of one up in Pompton Lakes. I know her very well. Now, these are the people that you have to entrust the Catholic Church to. And it should be accountable. They should have, you run your own parish. But then if you do that, then you have to get rid of. There's no more control.
There's no Vatican.
The Vatican is going to lose all their money. The bishops will lose all their money. All this stuff will lose all their money. And then they don't want to do that because there's a gold mine in it. Okay? Follow the money, folks. That's all you need to do. I've said enough of that.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to word. I think to try and go back to the point you made earlier, Joey, that you made really quick about killing the religion. I don't think it's so much of that. I'll say it the way Tony has actually said it in the past. He hates organized religion. Mm-hmm. And for as long as I've known him and your family, I know he's not saying that he hates being a Catholic or being religious in any way, shape, or form. He's saying he hates the actual construct. The actual, what at this point, if you really want to look at it, is a business.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hate the business, not the religion.
Can you do me a
And this
favor?
is coming from an atheist, okay? I will tell you, you can practice your faith any day of the week, any way you want. I have no problem with that. Obviously, we all coexist just fine, even with me being an atheist. You want to believe spiritual, whatever it is, go right ahead. If that makes you be a better person, that makes you think you're going to live a better life, absolutely. My problem is, like the way Tony said it, is don't buy into the organized religion. Don't sit there and pay these people money every Sunday just to sit there and tell you what it says in the Bible.
Right.
No,
Bibles are sold everywhere. Go buy one. Go read it yourself.
I agree with you.
It's not going to kill religion. It's going to kill the organization.
What I mean by killing the religion is when they shut down Catholic schools. At that point, you're taking away Catholic teachings
and future Catholics.
It
does. You're absolutely right what you said, Josh, because it is a business. But again, I'm going to get back to my point about if you shut down the Catholic schools, you're basically, shutting down the religion. You're shutting down the Catholic religion, not Christian. Christianity is much deeper than the Catholic Church.
Because they don't, as far as religion, they don't teach Catholic religion or anything. They don't teach religion in public schools.
Right.
And if you have an assortment of an abundance of public schools and no Catholic schools, you're not going to, granted, you can get the Catholic teaching at home and you could have the mother and father teach the children, but there's no, you're not going to get a full look at religion and how, at least in my opinion, because I went to a Catholic school and I grew up in that Catholic school, and you get a basis of your religion, you get a faithfulness by growing up within a Catholic school, to where if these Catholic schools start shutting down, that religion is going to die off with the future of that. Because as far as mom and dad, you guys never sat there and you installed morals in us as children, but you never sat there and we're going to talk about, teachings of Jesus Christ. We're not going to talk about teachings of, John the Baptist, No,
well, we both your mother and I both went to Catholic school our entire. I went right through high school.
Yeah.
And your mother the same, Protestant Catholic. I went Don Bosco. So basically, what it is after a while, you got to be it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again, and when you're done doing it, you get a chance to do something else, and you try to explore what is out there. Now, again, we're going from the topic. We've kind of changed the topic a little bit, but I just want to get this in here.
I mean, it's not changing the topic; it goes within, because this is a byproduct of what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a byproduct because at this point, it goes within the money aspect, because they're losing billions of dollars with settling sexual assault cases, but you're also losing parishioners. You're losing faithful, because they're not going to entrust their children.
Well, you can't anymore
in the church.
You can't. No, there's nowhere anymore to send them to Catholic school.
Well, no, what I'm saying, even if there was,
right.
You had enough faith in this, because you grew up in this area. You grew up with that school. You had enough faith in that school and the parishioners to send your children to St. Gerard.
That's not it. You want to know the truth why you went to St. Gerard?
Because mom and papa?
No, because I didn't want to send you to Patterson public schools. Growing up, and this is God's honest truth, growing up in the Catholic faith, you get, how do I say this?
Privileged.
Not so much privilege, no. You get jaded. In other words, this is the way it's got to be. You did it. Your father before you did it. This one did it. So on and so on. So to us, I don't want to send you to Patterson schools because I was afraid of them. But yet, having said that, my father was a custodian, at School 18 for 20 years. So you would think I wouldn't be. But I figured, you know what? It'll be a little stricter on you, and in some instances it is.
Well, what I meant by that is because when all this stuff started coming out, you're talking about 2001, 2002. At that point, you had 3 kids in a Catholic school.
Yeah.
When all this stuff coming out, did you ever have in your thought to be like, I'm taking my kids out of this school?
Because what happened was basically at that time, and like it is now, the church, St. Gerard's Church and St. Gerard's School are 2 completely different entities. Okay, they don't. They coexist. They're Saint Gerard, and the school will use the church for their teachings and whatever, but they're separate. They're separate right down the line. There's not one parish anymore. It's church and school. Back then, it wasn't that way. When I was a kid, the church and school were one. The priest at that time would come to your class, and it was like seeing Christ himself. Because as a kid in school, you see the priest come in, wow, he's paying attention to you, and that's part of the problem.
Well, yeah, I know that. I think, judging from the movie,
grooming thing. Is it grooming or some shit?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr. Conceal. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
well, no, you know what it is? It's coming from the movie. When you see it, it's most of the suitors weren't active children. They're not active children. They were adults when they filed these claims, because a lot of these things happened back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when religion, at least at that point, was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Everyone, like you're talking. Let's go back in our history. The first, I think, Roman Catholic president was John F. Kennedy. So the Catholic Church in the 60s was like glorious. Like, you went to the priest for everything. I know, rest in peace, Father Mark. You went to Father Mark for a lot, didn't you?
Father Mark was a parish priest. At that time, St. Gerard's was a giant community. We would relish the fact that anywhere Father Mark and Father Bob were, our parish was the first church to have co-pastors. In other words, you normally have a head priest who's the pastor, then you have the associates under him. But we had two co-priests, co-pastors, because we loved them both, and we all got along. And whether good or bad, I went to Father Mark or Father Bob, and they never judged anybody. They were great men, and there's never been an allegation about either one of them. And if there was, I wouldn't believe it anyway. So, having said that, Joshua, coming from an atheist point of view,
Yes, sir.
what would you
He's
think?
like, I'm ready. I am ready. Yes, sir.
I've been ready.
how
I was born for this.
How would you describe hearing him and I converse about this, as far as in relation to the church that you now see what's going on now? Would you think that we were jaded by the church, or would you think that we were just, taught a way or believed a certain way? It would be really interesting to hear your take.
Not so much. I really won't say jaded. I'll say more that I think at least the way you guys grew up, the way things were, how do I word this? You guys overall are good people. I can say that from the bottom of my heart. I trust you guys with my life. I'll do anything for you guys.
Thank you.
And seeing your
and
morals,
vice versa, by the way. Just letting that.
Yeah.
You too. What do I smell?
Huh?
What do I smell?
Nah, I'm cold, and I'm not trying to keep you.
The heater's over there. What about the heater over here? We don't have the folks.
Well, the heater's not on over here. So
It's not on. Why don't we get the heater over here?
That, and I was yawning too, and I don't want to make it contagious.
Anyway.
I don't think he's enjoying the subject matter tonight, folks.
Even growing up
I
around
didn't come prepared. I don't have anything really to say about this.
Even growing up around you guys, you have your morals, your values. You grew up to be good people. And I'm not going to sit there and say it was the Catholic Church that made you guys that way. Mm-hmm. I think, honestly, if I sit back and look at it, I can honestly say I don't think it was the church that made you guys that way. I think it's at some point, it was your faith, not the church and the religion. No. Yeah, sure, I can kind of see what you're saying with like accountability, them being a little bit stricter in the schools, that does shape you to be a better person.
Right.
And that can only go depending on the character of the person who is there to show you the way.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say it's the actual religion. I think I'm going to say it's your faith, your moral compass.
Okay.
I would say is probably the best way to describe it, because you don't. Yeah, sure. I've heard that you guys have gone to church and stuff like that, but I feel like that's not a big part of your life. At least now, obviously, because of COVID and stuff like that. But even before, I don't know how often. I don't remember you guys saying how often you went to church.
Well,
which isn't a bad thing,
right?
Because
I always had that belief that you don't have to go to church to be faithful. I always, I had that in my head,
and that's
growing up.
And that would be my counterpoint to you saying that the religion would die. Because one thing I can bring up that I've learned is that like I said, you attack the organization for hiding the evil people. You don't attack the religion itself. And you want to know why? Because religion, as long as there's people who are faithful, will last forever. It can go through changes. It may not be even the same as it was 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But think about that. 100 years ago, how big was churches?
Church?
Yeah, how big was Catholic churches? And then 100 years before that, 100 years before that.
You're talking about...
You have faith in something, and it changes over time.
It evolves.
You can see that
from now. Yeah. You can still be Catholic, you can still believe, and you can still have faith. That doesn't mean you have to sit there and go to the church for it.
Well, what I would, as I said before, I'm saying is more of just the teachings. And,
I know. I'm just saying.
But if you go down history, the Catholic Church has evolved from, being nothing to
just being simple people walking around talking about having faith
and talking about Jesus Christ, the teaching of Jesus Christ, and then going from that going to basically the biggest, I guess, global power at the time. When you go through,
still technically is, if anything, if you think about it.
I mean, if you go through the Inquisitions and all that, that's the Catholic Church.
Yeah, so everything evolved, and the problem is,
I think you have to go back in history. You have to look. Yeah, at one point,
far back,
priests, Catholic Church priests, were basically running towns.
Exactly, that's the thing. Yeah. After a while, when it started to evolve, there was something behind the scenes, and you could say it's the
what a show.
What's the word? Fallible of man. I believe it's a certain saying. I can't remember at the moment. It's something like that. The fallible as a human being, that can affect everything. Right. Because, like I said, it turned into an organization. Money started getting involved, just like you said, Joe. And you can sit there and say money's the root of all evil. You got to think about it.
I agree.
If money got involved with the religion, how has everything turned out since then?
Well, if there was no money in this whole situation, then the Vatican would not exist as it is. Number one, because they got more money than Jesus, and then the little tentacles.
Money, but,
well, the little tentacles around the world, these the churches would all have to sink or swim on their own.
Exactly.
And if there was a priest that was accused, well, the mob that ran that church would take care of that priest.
Thank you.
That's all you got to do. I mean, that again.
Not that we can go back to that, but thank you.
Right.
That's something I think would work.
The Catholic Church has to start realizing
pitchforks and flames and everything.
Yeah, the Catholic Church has to start realizing that,
what is the priest's punishment? Stone him to death.
Well, they would have to follow the laws, obviously. I mean, they would have him arrested, and the law would do its job.
And then they stoned him to death.
But okay, so we'll stone him for you. You can stone him.
The stoner
wants to stone him.
You just want to hear the word stoned.
Okay, so that would end this bullshit in a
heartbeat. In their
face. But there's too much money, like you said, Josh, out there.
Do you believe now?
People are, and how many? You got to also take into consideration how many people are jumping on this bandwagon that didn't get it. This is a non-provable crime, and I have the problem with You know, like when they did it to like the politicians. Now, I'm not a Joe Biden supporter or a Cuomo supporter. I hate both of them. And both of them have now got allegations against, you know, of sexual misconduct.
Nice.
Let's not run with it, folks. Let's prove it. Okay, I didn't like it when they did it to Trump. I didn't like it when they did it to, you know, Clinton. Although Clinton staying on the dreads, you know, they got him.
I mean, there's proof there.
Right, there's proof there.
There's proof.
You know, but it always seems to me like, you know, like the Harvey Weinsteins. You know, there's a lot of smoke there, but there is some fire with that guy. You know, you know, when more than enough people come out,
He has like a
then you got to
very,
start
like,
thinking, oh, maybe it is.
rapey
There's a
vibe.
problem here.
He does.
But you know,
Like he just
it's fucked up because I
stares
don't want.
through the windows.
It's like you can't accuse somebody and not have any proof. And that's what bothers me about the thing. If somebody's accusing me of something, and I know I'm innocent, I'm going to fight. And these priests are not fighting back. They're not saying, "No, wait a minute, you're not going to tarnish me. I'm a
Well,
good person."
at that point,
That's why I said it's a double-edged sword. 'Cause
well,
at that
is it
point,
really a
you
double-edged
can-
sword, or is
No,
it like
it is, because you have people who are actually hurting from this and they're trying to report it.
Right.
It'll ruin it for them by all the people who are just trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
But then also on the flip side, you have the priests, like you said, who aren't defending themselves. You have to ask the question, are they in the mindset, well, I'm not going to have to defend myself because I have a global conglomerate behind me that's going to protect me no matter what.
I don't see it.
Whether
that way.
That to me is giving it. They're at
Whether
that
I
point.
do or don't do it.
Right, they're giving up their life then at that point.
But
Because-
are they really though?
Yeah, they are because
Think about it. They're not really giving up their life because
Why
if they're
not?
being moved into a different parish,
Yeah.
they're just doing the same. They're just.
Do you think for a moment that it's not going to filter through everybody in the Catholic Church, the powers that be? This guy's a fucking child molester. Do you want to go down in life as it was? And you know you're not guilty, no matter what they do to you. Do you want to say, "All right, I didn't do it, but hide me"? Would you do that?
Well, no. But what I'm saying is,
Fuck
if
that.
with priests who haven't done that, my question at that point then is, if you're not sitting there defending yourself,
Right.
that you must be guilty then.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that because in this country, in this world, you have a right to defend yourself. Okay, unless you live in North Korea, you have a right to defend yourself. But then again, in North Korea, we don't have these problems because they take you to the town square and put two in your head. So
North Korea church, South Korea church.
okay, so my point is, you got priests that don't defend themselves against allegations. All right, that to me screams something.
But I have a question. But the problem is, and you saw it in the movie. There could be allegations, yes, but if they're not getting to court, these priests are not going to defend themselves. The church is not going to defend itself.
But that doesn't matter because if you're being accused, okay, you're not moving me from my parish. These are my parishioners.
So, but at that point, the church, the Catholic Church, is telling them either you're going to get moved or you're not going to be a priest anymore.
So be it.
So either way, you're giving up your life.
So, no, I'm not giving my life. You know what I'll do? Here's what I'll do.
You gonna start your own church?
No, I still will be pious. I still will be faithful. I just won't be a church. I won't be a church. I won't be a priest anymore, and I'll go get married,
But
or
that's
I'll
the
do
thing.
something different. I'll go ski jumping or something.
You're still giving up the life. When you become a priest, you're choosing that life. You're choosing the life of celibacy. You're choosing the life of no worldly possessions. You're choosing the life of married to God. You're choosing all of that. You're
I'm
choosing.
going to ask you a question. Okay,
yeah,
not to
it's
cut you
gonna-
off.
You are going to cut me off.
I'm going to cut you off because you're talking like a peckerhead now.
I'm not talking
Okay?
like a peckerhead.
called
I'm going to ask
Peckerhead.
anybody in this. I'm going to ask anybody on this panel. I want all your opinions. Okay.
Keep your mouth next to the mic, please.
I'm sorry. Never mind. All right. Would you rather be a live rat or a dead hero? And when I ask you that question, I'm going to preface it with, like, if you saw something, and you knew if you talked, you would be
Condemned.
condemned or maybe killed. But if you didn't, okay, and you ratted that person out,
Are you asking me would I be Judas?
would you? I mean, would you? And most people would say, "Hand me the cheese," because they'd rather be a
But
live
you're
rat.
making my point for me.
That's
then.
but I'm trying to do it in a reverse order here. I'm trying to make you. Joe, sometimes you got to have a backbone.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying is you're making my point for me. Either way,
Well, you know what? These check will be in the mail.
These priests are going to lose the way their livelihood is.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
I don't know what to say. So basically, what you're telling me is okay. So
No, I'm not telling you.
All right.
anything.
So coming at it from your point of view, or whatever you want to say, these priests then are saying, well, you know what? Since I am not guilty, but I'm going to go along with it because I still want to be a priest. Well, what kind of fucking priest are you going to be if you're accused, and that file is going to follow you wherever you go, of being accused pedophile?
Well, it depends on.
And it will get out.
Well, it always gets out, and I agree with you.
So you lost your life either way.
So that's what I'm saying.
So then take
Thank you for
control of
making
your
my
life
fucking
and say,
point.
I'm going to fight it. If I'm truly not guilty, I'm going to fight it with everything I got, and I'm going to move on. You don't want me to be a priest anymore? Oh, I'll cry for 5 minutes.
Well, that's my thing. But you, at the same time, it's a fucked up thing because you're sitting there. Either way, you're gonna lose the way you want your life. And granted, if you do it, you deserve whatever they throw at you.
Well, there's a lot of things in life that gets thrown at you. Just look at the last 75
No, I
days.
know. What I'm saying
Okay, be
is,
prepared.
if you do, if you sexually abuse a child, if you sexually abuse a person in general, whether it be child or adult or even old ass lady, you deserve to be put in jail.
Period.
Now, in my opinion, with the Catholic Church moving these people and just settling out of court, my opinion, the Catholic Church should be held liable and should start really paying fines fines upon the whatchamacallit that they settle, the settlements that they settle out of court.
Okay,
people.
that's fine by me. If that's what you want
Because if you're looking at that like, oh, you're gonna be, well, you can't put them here. So with them starting moving people out of the country and into other countries. At that point, like, we have 3 or 4 fucking Indian priests up here that come from India, which is the only place you could apparently get priests now.
Huh?
You know what? They're good. They make good priests, and you know what? Any off chance that they don't make it as a priest, they can run a Dunkin'.
You're
It's
an
very
asshole.
simple. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying,
They're
okay,
with the
so,
Indian people.
but
my
your
God.
point from before, though, is when you're sitting there and you have the 2 examples of what I was talking about before, with the dying of the Catholic teachings, is you had mom and dad who decided, we haven't heard anything from our parish about any allegations or anything like that. We have faith and trust in our parish, and we're scared of Patterson school systems, so we keep our kids in school. Eric's parents were like, fuck that, we're keeping our kids and putting them into the public school system. So
I was never in a Catholic school or anything. I was just always in a public
church.
school.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, church, yeah.
Like they kept you away from the church and the church teachings. So at that point, you didn't
church teachings, but like it's still like how
you still went to Sunday schools, right? Did you go to Sunday schools when you were younger?
No, I didn't
No?
do any of that.
No. Well,
I didn't do anything. If anything, like it was just like how your pops did. He just like, I just got morals.
and he shakes his head. I got morals, the morals. But
I
if
was
I'm saying,
gonna
like,
say, you
if
can ask him if he still has faith, even though he hasn't been to church.
you could,
But,
you
oh
could
my
have
God.
faith. I get that, but at the point, like, when you start having children, you're going to show your morals more than your faith.
No. I'd honestly, like, I know as a parent, I would just teach my kids the reality of how life is, unfortunately, in this cold, cruel world. And as honestly, as fucked up as that sounds, am I taking away my kid's childhood? Hey, honestly, I'll let the kid be for until, 6, 7 years old. But until then, like, listen, man, like, life works in a very fucked up way, and you have to learn that this is how life works. Now, don't get me wrong, there are good people out here outside of mommy and daddy. But you're gonna understand that a lot of people are not are not looking out for your own good like how we are. You know what I'm saying? That's honestly what I would probably instill in my kid, for the like being truly 100% honest.
Yeah,
Because it really prepares you for life. Like, it's just.
But as far as like religious aspect, are you going to install in your children any type of religious?
I think I would like pass on the Bible to them, because for the most part, like, I haven't read the Bible completely, but from what I have read, a lot of these stories relate to what's going on now, because literally we as human beings haven't changed at all. If anything, we just got worse.
Yeah, and you
so
find
it's
out
just
Jesus
so
is
it's
a cool dude.
So, hey, yeah, he was a cool dude. He was just like, yo, man, we shouldn't fight. We should just like, we should know what's right from wrong. Going with the whole morals thing, like. You're not taught what's
Love
right
each
from
other.
you're not taught what's right from wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I just got out of this? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just got. You ever see Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Nah.
Okay,
Oh,
you got
we
to
have
watch
to
that
watch it.
movie. Okay, it's like when Spicoli. You ever see that movie?
You're our Spicoli.
Okay, when Spicoli was in the classroom and Mr. Hand was like all fucked up, he looks over and he's smiling at him, and he says to him, he goes, what's your take on it? He goes, well, no, it's when he was he went to his house and he asked him, what did you get from the lesson? And he goes, well, it's like, this guy said to us, hey, if you don't want to make the rules, we'll just get some cool rules ourselves, and that's the way it's going to be. And that's exactly what you were coming up. I'm like, I got Bob Sid with Spicoli over here.
Same type of person.
It was like, oh my God.
Mind-boggling.
But yeah, but if you look through the generations, you could even see it within our own family too, to where Mama and Papa, faithful parishioners of the Catholic Church until the day they died, to where you and Mom, you're not as like growing up, you were, as teenagers, young adults, stuff like that. But once you started getting older, you didn't lose faith.
You learn to grow and evolve.
Exactly. See, I follow basically what Joshua says here. I don't go to church.
You learn who you are, and you just question. Like,
I'm talking about the schooling aspect. I'm not talking about the church.
The schooling aspect for me is long gone, Joe. I'm 60 years old. That ship has sailed. My point is, right now, like
they were still carving in things with stone. You know what I mean?
Spicoli, it's enough out of you.
But what I'm saying is, look at Caden now, which in our family is the next generation.
Right.
Caden is learning through us and the little teachings that we give him for religion.
He's going to take on his own life, and that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be forcing your morals.
He's going to grow up to be like me.
He shouldn't be forcing your religion on anybody. You can give, like, again, I can send you to Catholic church or school, but it wasn't because of the teachings or I want to be a good Christian or all die to go to heaven. I did it because I didn't trust the pastoral school system at the time. Now, having said that, back in the day...
Well, today's not any better.
Tech was bad. Tech was real bad. Mm-hmm. But now Tech is one of the best schools out there.
Well, Tech only started getting better when him and I went.
Well, whatever. My point is it's better now.
It was still bad when you went.
It's better now because people are held accountable. They weren't back then.
There was a lot of fights.
But I do agree with Joshua on one aspect. You don't need organized religion to have faith.
I know that.
I talk to God every day.
That's what my mother taught me. And I think my mother is probably like the most like faithful one in my household, because she reads like a little like a little like one of those like daily
passage things.
Yeah, like she reads one of those a day, and she does it faithfully.
And again, like I don't go to church, but I know it's wrong to molest somebody.
No, exactly.
I know it's so if I know it and I don't go to church, the fuckers that are running the church don't seem to get that memo, and that's the mind-boggling part of the whole situation. They're basically using their status to basically be immune and do whatever the fuck you want.
And that's why, honestly, it's just feeling from within, because if that's it just makes sense. It's just rotten so much that it has to fall apart at some point.
I get that, and what my point is, at that point, then
at least the organized part, because
why have any type of religion then?
You can still
good point.
You can still have religion. You don't need
what would you hold on to after that? What would you really hold on to?
Well, I'm saying, if you just have faith, and like, you have to have a basis of where that faith came from.
Yeah,
which stem. Well, who made the Bible?
Well, okay.
every religion.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But what I'm saying is, every religion has their own Bible.
That's a whole series of shows.
Like,
okay, look, Joe.
The Jews have the Quran, I think.
No, that's the no. The Jews have the Torah.
Hold on a minute. Let's, ladies and gentlemen, Joey did not understand that the Jews do not have the Quran.
Torah, yes,
they have. Have the Torah.
Point being is,
I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Look, I got a stroke over here.
Look, the point being is, you can have a Bible. Okay, let's put it this way, because you keep going back to the Catholic teachings. You don't necessarily have to have a school and an organization to do that. Say you have a Bible right now. Joe can sit there and read you a passage, and then can sit there and try to interpret the meaning or the lesson behind it.
Based on perspective on what he thinks and what he got out of that.
What I'm saying is,
you can pass that on to someone.
But what I'm saying is, if you take a look at it, who made the so I don't know, so we go from the Catholic Bible, from the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
We base our faith and our,
Is that any different? Is that any, like, how is that, how different is that from any other Bible?
There's a lot of differences.
Like,
it's just
so like give me an example.
So in the Catholic Church.
So is the King James Bible a Catholic Church Bible?
Yes.
Yeah. So the Catholic Church, Jesus was the Son of God.
Yeah.
In the Jewish faith, Jesus was a prophet. That's two different teachings that can base a faith in completely two different directions. But they're in the same
Bible.
Well, you're right. You have the Old Testament and the New Testament.
No. You're getting it confused. It's Islam. It's in the Torah that they recognize Jesus as a holy prophet, but they don't acknowledge him as the Messiah. Right. The Jews completely don't acknowledge him as anything.
I thought the Jews acknowledge him as a prophet.
No, that's the Muslims. The Muslims acknowledge that he was a holy prophet, but they never acknowledge that he was.
But that's
what
I'm saying. So you have three different teachings at that point that can determine someone's faith in three different directions.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the church and you don't have a Catholic school, you are going to base on what then? Because if at that point, if you're going to base it on, if you have no organized religion, you're going to base it on these three books, or at least, let's just put it, because I know there's a lot more, Bibles or teaching books.
That's a whole other thing too.
So you're going to base your faith on which one? Whichever one you feel. But what does it fall under?
It's whichever one you feel right. That's why I say, from my point of view as an atheist, at the end of the day, it's whatever you feel is right. If you're not someone who has a fucked up head and you know right from wrong, like Joe said, molest someone, that's bad.
Yes.
Rape someone, that's bad.
Yes.
Kill someone, that's bad.
Yes.
If you can go through life knowing that's wrong, then you're already set on your own path. Now, I get what you're meaning with, like, the faith. It can come down to, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus? Do you believe in those stories that were written down by man and passed down for generations to generations?
No, yeah.
That's what you can do. That's what it is. That's what it has become, and that's what it's been for hundreds of years now.
Then you can also ask the question: do you take it as like fiction, as literal, or just like as a parable, or?
Well, that's what any story from thousands of years ago.
Right. You can't really sit there. I mean, again, this is so off topic, but you can't really take the Bible. You got to take the Bible and you got to interpret it. You can't say
it's no, of course.
It's right off the bat. I mean, right off the bat,
Adam and Eve. Not,
well, if Adam and Eve.
Well, see, again, there's some religions that, of course, believe Adam and Eve were real.
Yeah, but
there's some religions that believe that the Earth is only
that's going to show that, to
20 years
Josh's
old.
point, that's going to show you that you really should just question your religion at that point. Because if Adam and Eve begot Cain and Abel, well, now you got Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. Where did the fucking rest of the people come from? Everybody fucked Eve?
I know. I'm just saying.
That's my point.
I mean, you also have some religions out there that think there's a giant fucking spaghetti monster in the sky. So,
again, when you can believe in what it doesn't matter. Whatever makes your heart feel better.
But getting back to the point on hand, though,
come on.
is you're talking about faith and religion, in my opinion, two different subjects.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So you could still have
necessarily need
faith.
religion.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying you need religion to have faith. What I'm saying is to continue with your beliefs and your belief system, and my belief system is what I was raised on in the Catholic school, and that's what I base my beliefs and my morals off of because of the teachings I got in that school, and that's what I'm going to pass down to my children. But
would you put them in a Catholic church though?
Yes, I would. And that's where I think when all this, getting back to our point, all this happened, you started losing those people because of this. And that really affects the future of that religion.
Yeah.
Based on the failure of man, which is what priests are, men.
Yeah.
Well, clergy, men, women.
You're right. Again, but I'm a zero tolerance guy when it comes to this shit.
Oh, I agree. I am too.
To me, you know what? You molest, you go to jail. You rape, you go to jail. You kill, you go to jail. If you can't determine that, and you're
a lot better than my thought system.
If you're like,
you want to stone everybody.
If you can't
public execution
process that, and you're put in charge of other human beings, well then somebody's got to be accountable, and it shouldn't be that a giant organization has that right to move them around like chess pieces.
Oh,
somebody has to go to jail. Somebody has to pay the price there. I don't want to hear about paying those settlements. I don't want to hear that. Okay, because if you don't pay off these settlements, you're not going to get people to come.
It just makes it sound like you're running away from your problems.
Exactly. Somebody has to be accountable. If you do something wrong in this society, you're held accountable. You go to jail. Okay, why is it different from them? That's my whole point to this thing right here. And one thing we haven't really touched on is, everybody, the press these days goes off on a tyrant. You got press that are pro-Republican. You got the press that are pro-Democrat, and they only cover the stories that they want. This movie should tell everybody the power of what the press should really be. Because they got together, they did their homework, they did everything they could, and then when they put that out there on that Sunday,
they did it right too.
They did it right. They got everything right, and then they did it on that Sunday.
It took months for them to investigate that.
Exactly, and the people came to them. There was no slant on there. Well, I can't say it because it might hurt the guy in charge, or I don't want to piss anybody. The press should be neutral. The press should be out there helping the people they're reporting the news to. And that's one example of that movie that I really took from that, because that just screamed to me like that's not the way it is now. You got every special interest group has their own TV show and their own press pushing their agenda. So
sorry, Eric, go ahead.
Oh no, I personally believe that like a lot of why this like doesn't get pushed on too is because think about the country that we're in too. It's very pro-Christian, very pro-Catholic.
I see it differently.
In a way, I guess like you could say like when it first like started out or something like that.
I think the country has turned over the last 40 years, or 50 years, 50 or 60 years. I think we were very religion based, and now it's very anti-religion, because, and I as far as political wise, you shouldn't base any policies for a country on religion. That's my beliefs. My belief.
Yeah, that's how extremism gets
what the Constitution is. That's why we have a Constitution. We're not basing anything.
Well, that's what John Kennedy said when John Kennedy took the office. He goes, I am not the Catholic president. I am a president that just happens to be Catholic.
Yeah.
So he put it into perspective.
But that's what I'm saying. If you talk about the last 60 years from 1950 and on, you're talking that's 70 years. But you had a high number of, and this is where most of these cases are, to where the country at that time was very religious, very pro-religion. You, especially within the Catholic guys, the Catholics were everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's why you had most of these things, because as Dad said, like, it's like, again, going back to Father Mark, you went to Father Mark for everything. Well, not for everything, but you had your faith and trust in Father Mark.
I trusted Father Mark because I got a history with Father Mark. Again,
but that was the role of a priest. That
Exactly.
should be a role of a priest.
Exactly.
To help your faithful in their moral efforts.
Right. And God forbid, if anything would have came out at that point that Father Mark or any priest that Father Mark will use him, right? May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
If it would have came out that there was allegations about him, or he just suddenly one day disappeared, that would have shattered a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you
me
look at
being one of them, because I loved the guy. I really did. I mean, you saw when I got the news that he died, I broke down.
Yeah, you look at the response on, at least on Facebook, in the city of Patterson alone, because that's where everyone knew him. I saw people posting Father Mark that I didn't even think were fucking religious.
Well, that's a testament to the kind of guy he was.
And that should be the role of a priest, to, at least in my eyes, to help push their parishioners, help push their faithful in the right direction of being faithful.
You're actually alluding to the point, though. At the end of the day, they should always do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that goes back to what you asked and what you guys were debating before. Do the priests just give up their life? I don't know if they should. I don't know if they shouldn't. At the end of the day, they should do the right thing.
Right.
If they know they're not guilty, I agree with Joe. They should fight. Like, hey, I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, my argument wasn't whether, like, if they're guilty or not, just go along with it. Wasn't my argument. My argument, what I was saying is, you have to look in the eyes of it for priests that, at least we haven't seen a priest that wasn't guilty. We've never seen a priest.
That's my point.
That was sat there and fought it, and we don't know what that outcome would have been, because we've never seen it.
I'll tell you one thing: you get one priest to stick up for himself and fight the allegations, and actually is not guilty, it's going to turn this entire thing on its head. Because then you're going to have priests going, "Wait a minute, he fought and won. I'm not going to let you determine. I'm not going to let you label me as a pedophile." Same thing with the mafia. It took one guy to turn. It took one person to turn on mafia, and the rest of them came. The house of cards came right down. Yeah. And then now they you're labeled a rat, you're labeled whatever, but you're not going to take the heat for somebody else's shit, and that's the way it should be. Anyway, let's start wrapping this up, guys.
Yeah,
Joshua. Yes, sir.
Excellent show tonight. You did a great job as usual.
Thank you.
So I don't know what we've accomplished tonight.
Me and Eric will go fuck ourselves. We didn't.
No, well, I'm just trying to finish up here.
We're good. It's cool.
Well, anyway, go fuck yourself.
You
Anyway,
brought a computer, and you're cool.
I brought my notes.
Next week, I'll have my computer up and running. So just to let you know, we'll have the dueling computers. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, he's good.
Eric, if you want to feel cool, you can bring your laptop. Also, we'll all four of us have.
He's
laptops.
got a computer. He never uses it. I went through all the trouble of plugging that in too.
Anyway,
go ahead, Josh. Do your thing.
Like I said, at the end of the day, do the right thing. I do agree with you, Joe, but it's like, if they're not guilty, but yet we don't know if they're not, because you have to ask, is the church forcing them to relocate even if they're not guilty?
Right. And again, it comes back to the church. Culpability with the church. To me, that's criminal behavior.
Yeah, can you sit there and live with yourself and do the right thing, but then still let them relocate you?
Right.
Are you going to defend yourself? Stuff like that.
So to end this episode, we usually now, at least in this new season that we're in, we sit there and ask the question of, is it real? I mean, obviously, we have proof of shit that is real. So what would be the question to ask about this topic?
What would you do?
Like, what is the question we ask our listeners to ponder?
Well,
do you blindly follow the church, or do you believe in your own Faith.
Yeah. I again.
Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus or whatever else you
Well,
may
see,
follow?
Is your love of the church, does that supersede the laws of the land? Okay, in other words, will you follow the church no matter what they say blindly, like Joshua just said? Will you blindly follow the church and let them move these pedophiles around, or will you hold the church accountable? Is that real? Is that even an issue? That's where I think this all is.
What my question would be, where is the line between religion and faith? Where is that line?
I don't.
And if you guys, and if anybody listening wants to comment and, give us an answer what they believe where the line between religion and faith is.
And also, I just hope and pray that the Catholic Church can survive this, but they're going to have to change their ways. They're going to have to change their ways. And again, the laws of the land have to be. I know it's church. I know it's Jesus. It's God. It's the Pope. The highest, whatever. I get it. But the laws of the land are there for everybody.
Like the Pope.
And the laws of the land are there for everybody. That should come first. The church should follow those rules first. And if not, then they should be held accountable. And then, you got to pierce the corporate logo, go right after them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right,
my thing is, I think each month we should at least have one religious episode, one Vatican episode, whatever the hell you want to call it.
There's a ton of stuff with the Vatican. We'll figure it out.
Because
and,
this is a very interesting topic to keep digging into.
The next episode, I want to call the next episode, if it's okay with you guys.
Yeah, all right.
I want to dive into the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez.
All right.
There's a 4-part series on Netflix. Really, really cool. I watched the whole thing in like one day.
Damn.
It's amazing.
We're coming for you, Dick Ramirez.
And it goes back. Also, we'll get some of the Cecil Hotel in there too because he stayed there. Okay. Just anybody out there, what we're doing in March is we're going to be doing our advertising. So I'm going to hand this over to Joey. You need to give out the
Information.
The information. Actually, all I need you to do is give out the
email.
The email address where they can send their inquiries. We're running. We have different packages, different programs. Call or send out. We'll send you a media kit.
All right. So the email for Is This Real Podcast is thisrealpc@gmail.com. And you can go to our Facebook page, and our email's up on our Facebook page. Is This Real on Facebook? And pretty soon, I believe Josh was going to start doing an Instagram and a Twitter for us, right?
Yes, I will have that up shortly, within about a week.
All right, and then you can hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. Check out our other podcast, Green Hour Podcast, and their episodes go up every Wednesday night. We go up every Sunday night. And I really enjoyed this episode with you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It really was. And we have a new partner. Eric Polanco is now officially a part owner of Green Arrow Media.
Oh my God!
Yes, our West is officially part owner of Green Arrow Media.
And we have one more partner, and then we're closing partnerships. We're done.
Partnership is over.
All right, we're going to do that. We got exactly who we want in here, and then, I think we're going to be. Good. We're just.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, stay with us. Stay with us out there, folks.
Keep listening.
Like I said, we're going to be doing live shows coming up shortly. We're going to do video shows so you can see our ugly faces.
I have
beautiful,
an adorable
by the way.
face. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Josh. You're right. You are cute. I get it.
Beautiful,
adorable.
And please hit us up.
Give me teddy bear vibes.
Please hit us up for any inquiries you want.
Show topics,
too.
whatever you want to do.
We're interested in basically at this point, with the information I gave everybody in here today, doing business with anyone.
That is an understatement per our conversation before the podcast started.
So, good night, everybody. This will probably be a 2-part episode.
Whatever you got to do.
Good night, everybody. And, gentlemen, I'll see you next week.
Good job, guys.
All right, good night, everybody.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word. Or if you want to find out more about our company, Green Arrow Media, then follow us on YouTube at Green Arrow Media, or on Facebook, facebook.com/greenarrownj, or on Instagram at Green Arrow PC, or on Twitter at Green Arrow PC.